Back, everybody. Today we're going to be covering how to use SMM Deal Finder and properly assess your leads that you can find through AI Niche Finder and through AI Deal Finder so that you can reach out to them properly and get these deals closed. Now, we are going to go over both sides of this today, both the AI Niche Finder and the AI Deal Finder, and we're going to start off with Niche Finder. And what Niche Finder does is it allows us to search an individual location for all the businesses that relate to a particular niche. So for this example, since I used to own gyms, I'm going to use gyms as an example, and we're going to search in Miami because I happen to live in Miami. So let's go ahead and fill that in. We're going to do gyms, and we're going to do Miami. Okay. With a click of a button, boom, the AI has gone ahead and found me tons of gym leads all over Miami. And the cool thing is I get their name, I get their contact phone number, I get their contact email if it's available. I've also been able to see whether or not they're on any of the big three platforms, which would be TikTok, Instagram, and of course, Facebook. And the next cool part is this section over here tells us whether or not there's an active pixel code on the website, which leads us to believe whether or not they're actively running ads or not. And that's for each of the big three platforms as well, whether that be Google, Facebook, or TikTok. We can also get an idea on their Google reviews here. And with a click of a button, we can get all the research on a particular type of business in a particular location, all in one nice clean spot for us, so that we don't have to go to 17 different websites and look them up in 17 different places. All the information is going to be in one spot. And of course, extra cool part is if you want to use our CRM, that's over here in the Your Leads section, you can click Add a Lead, Add a Lead, Add a Lead, and now these guys will go ahead and appear in your lead sheet for you to go ahead and manage as you do your outreach. But now, again, like I said in the beginning, whenever doing any type of outreach, you need to consider the type of prospect you're going to want to reach out to. And that's going to be determined by the type of service you're going to be providing. Are you providing just Facebook ads? Are you providing Google ads? Are you providing content creation? Depending on which service you're offering, you're going to look at this sheet a little bit differently. So for this example, let's say I want to offer either Facebook ads or created content, UGC as we call it, right? I want to look for people that maybe have Facebook, but aren't actively running any type of Facebook ads because that's going to be the easiest person to sell that to, right? And then on top of that, when I get a little bit more in depth into checking them out, I want to see what their social media is looking like. Do they post content often? Is it consistent? Is it good content? If all those three things or any of those three things don't line up, then that might be a potential lead for me to reach out to about doing UGC for as well. So as we scroll through here, as you can see, there are a lot of big name gyms and a lot of big name companies that appear when you do these searches. Those companies are not the ones you're going to want to reach out to. For example, UFit is a big nationwide chain, right? That's not going to be a company that's going to want to hire an independent contractor or a freelancer. They're going to want an in-house employee, and I almost guarantee you they already have one. So that being said, reaching out to somebody like them or LA Fitness is not in your best interest. You want to reach out to a smaller independent company. It's kind of like mom and pop, but not necessarily like a fresh new started business either, because a brand new business may not be able to afford you depending on what you're charging, right? So let's go ahead and scroll through here. And the example I always like to use here is Ghost Gym here in Miami. This, just from looking at the rest of this list, you can tell it's independent. It doesn't have like a big chain name attached to it or anything like that. It's not a Crunch. It's not a Planet Fitness, etc. We have some contact information here from them. It doesn't appear like they have their contact email on their website, so we can go dig into them a little bit. But cool thing that we can see here, they do have Facebook, they do have Instagram, but they're not running any type of ads and have no tracking data on the website. But they've got some good Google reviews and they're pretty highly rated. So let's go ahead and check them out. With a click of a button, boom, I have now found everything about Ghost Gym. And that's the cool part about this research button is it takes everything that you need to know about a particular lead or a particular prospect and puts it all into one spot for you. That way you're not searching on 17 different websites and diving into all these different locations. Everything is made faster for you by using the software. So it's all in one spot for you to go ahead and check out. So based on the type of offer that we're talking about here, which is Facebook ads and doing some creative content, I want to look at two things. I want to look at their website and I want to look at their socials. Now, let's go ahead and open up the website. Let's go ahead and open up their Instagram and dive on in. Now, here on their website, one of the first things I want to do is I always double check, right? And everybody should always double check to try to make sure that all the information that we get is as accurate as possible. So we're working with the most accurate information to be able to provide and reach out in the best manner, in the best way when reaching out to these prospects. So That being said, I have a Google Chrome extension attached to my browser. It's called TagHound. This allows me to confirm whether or not there's any active pixels on a website. And as you can see here, there are no active pixels on this website. So Deal Finder was correct. There are no active pixels. Awesome. I like it. Now, as I look at this website, it's pretty well done. It presents very clearly in the above the fold section, which is anything you can see before doing any scrolling, exactly what they are, exactly what they do. They definitely invested some time and some effort into this, and I do like the presentation. I maybe would not have listed all my pricing right here on the website, especially for personal training. I'd probably try to sell that in-house and keep those prices in-house, but I digress. And it looks like we have a cool little photo gallery to run through of the gym. Looks like a pretty nice spot. Looks like they got a cool design. They got plenty of equipment. So judging from what I know personally about the gym niche and having, again, owned a gym myself, this looks like this is a gym that's doing quite okay. Plus, I can tell you living in Miami, everything's expensive. So if they're paying their rent, which it looks like they are, then I'm assuming they're doing well enough to be able to afford at least a couple grand a month on any type of marketing. And it doesn't look like, from what I can see right now, that they're doing any type of paid marketing, right? Because there's no pixels, no analytics, no nothing on this website. And that's a lot of money being left on the table by this business. Just even getting listed better or listed higher on Google through some PPC could help these businesses tremendously. They're not doing that, right? So to confirm this, if you guys want to know a little trick to kind of help you out with this, if you ever want to make sure and confirm whether or not a business is running ads or not, you can do what's going to be called going to the Facebook ads library. Facebook ads library is required by law here in the United States to disclose to you anybody who is actively running ads on their platform. It's just the law, right? So you can come over here and type in Ghost Gym Miami and see if they come up. They do have a business page, awesome, but they are not actively running any type of ads on the platform. So, boom. If we're looking to go ahead and pitch these people some Facebook ads, we know for a fact they're not doing it and definitely could benefit from it. So box one has already been checked here. The other thing that I look at whenever I'm talking about maybe offering Facebook ads is one, the presentation on the website, which I think is good enough. And I think it definitely would work if we were able to run some traffic to it. Maybe some slight optimizations in the checkout process or a registration process here, but definitely still something I think could be serviceable and work for the offer. But now number two, with any type of paid ads offer, what I always like to say is the paid ads get the people there, the content and the website reinforce the decision, right? So whenever I go to a new gym or whenever I want to go check out a new gym, I may search for, gym near me, etc. I may find the gym that's located or listed highest on the list, and I may go to their website like this and check it out. But just thinking as a consumer, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to check them out on Instagram. I'm going to check them out on Facebook and TikTok because I want to see what's the room like. Is it always packed in there? Is the place clean? Is it taken care of? How many people are usually there at any given point in time? These are all important things for a consumer, especially in this niche, right? So the content, their social media is going to reinforce the decision and reinforce their authority as a business to get people to want to come, right? And just from taking a peek at it, it does look like they've made a pretty concerted effort at posting content here for their socials. They do have about 5,000 followers, but one big glaring hole of an issue I notice here is there's no reels. No reels, which reels are the best performing item that you can create or input into these algorithms. And the reason why that is all these algorithms for these social media platforms, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it doesn't matter. They all value watch time the most out of any metric whenever you give it content. Okay. The days of it all being about comments and likes and hashtags are kind of over. Okay, the most valuable metric to the algorithms, which determines how often they boost you up and they push you out in front of other people, is watch time. Okay, and they've got no watch time. They got no videos, right? So I immediately have a whole bunch of glaring topics here to go ahead and talk to them about, right? So what I would do in this situation is I would find a picture, or if they had videos, I would find a video and I would take it to them and I would DM it to them to start this conversation, right? And in a gym situation, I may take a photo like this that kind of shows off the whole gym. And I may say, hey, Ghost Gym, I'm in the Miami area. I love the way you guys have all this open space here in the gym. I love the presentation you guys have going on. Do you guys offer classes too? Do you guys offer personal training too? Now, of course, maybe I already know that because of the fact I've been on the website, right? But again, they don't know who I am coming to this conversation. They don't know who I am coming into this outreach, right? So you need to find a topic from their socials, from their website to break the ice and start the conversation. And once you start off with that compliment and a question format, the conversation to go ahead and hook them into talking about services rolls really smoothly. And I say that because the way it should ideally flow should be this. Number one, after you start off with your question, your compliment, they're going to respond, generally speaking, in a manner that's going to be trying to sell you something, right? They're going to be trying to say like, oh, hey, yeah, we offer A, B, and C at this time, or maybe we have this class and this rate. Come check us out. No matter what they say, your response is always going to be this. Hey, thanks. I'll definitely check you guys out. And speaking of checking you guys out, I noticed when insert the platform or the place you were checking them out, right? In this case, Instagram, right? I noticed as I was scrolling through your Instagram feed to go ahead and learn a little bit more about the gym, you guys really don't post reels like that. Why is that? It's a curiosity-based question. And this curiosity-based question is meant to, again, continue the idea of painting you as an interested consumer, but also get you to pull out their pain point, to get them to put on the table why exactly they aren't doing whatever it is that you're pointing out that they're not doing. And when that happens, you're usually going to get a pain point that relates to time, money, or knowledge. I'm too busy. I'm doing too much stuff with the business. We used to have a guy for that and he left. Oh, I'm not good at creating content and I just don't really know what to do with it, etc. And for argument's sake here, let's go ahead and say that they're in this case going to be saying they're just too busy, right? And having been a gym owner myself, I know what that's like because you're doing everything from top to bottom sometimes. So if they respond saying they're too busy, right? The next step that I'm going to take in this conversation is I'm going to agree and relate to their problem. And then I'm going to point out how an example business from this niche is doing really well because they've been doing the thing that this business is not, and ask them whether or not they've considered getting help with this. So for example, right, let's say they've responded with, oh, I'm just too busy to do that stuff. Hey man, I totally understand. Running a gym, you probably got 8,000 things to do a day, and that's probably pretty tough. But you know what I noticed is that when Boxer down the road started posting more on their Instagram and on their TikTok, they blew up, and I know that meant more clients. So I mean, just out of curiosity, have you ever considered getting help with something like that? And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the sales red flag goes right on up, okay? And yes, this is what I like to call the pivot point, okay? This is the make or break moment where we're either going to get left on red or ignored, and we have to do follow-up, 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 which we don't want to happen, or we're going to go ahead and get an objection, an argument, right? And we want that. We want to argue because we can solve and we can overcome an objection. We can't overcome being left on red. That's pretty difficult, right? So they're going to come back and they're going to give you your objection, right? When this happens, it's almost always going to be related to time, money, or knowledge, right? And with this, let's just say the objection is money. Let's say they come back and they say, oh, well, I thought about doing that stuff once, but that stuff's just too expensive. I don't feel like spending tons of money on that. Hey, man, I totally understand. At the end of the day, I'm sure there's marketers out there that do cost an arm and a leg. But just remember, nothing in a sentence before the word but matters, right? But if I was able to go ahead and get you those same kind of results, but keep it super affordable, is that something that's a conversation worth having for you, right? And there's some psychology to the way I'm asking this question, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not asking them to sign up with me. I'm not asking them to pay me money right away. I'm not asking them to do anything other than tell me whether or not that conversation of making them more money and keeping it affordable is a conversation worth having, okay? The psychology there is to get them to say yes as many times in a row as possible, because the more times you get them to say yes, the more likely they're continuing to say yes. Hope that makes sense, okay? And you may have to go through this objection handle, which I call agree, deflect, and push again, okay? Multiple times, because they may give you multiple objections. Because let's say they do say, yeah, you know what, that does make sense, but I'm just super busy running the gym. I don't even know like if I'll have time to sit down this week. You know what, man? I totally understand. Again, you've got 8,000 things on your plate running the place. But that being said, if I could just even fit in like a quick 10 minutes of your time to at least, help you and get you pointed in the right direction. So even if you wanted to get help later, you could do it. Would that be a conversation worth having for you? Would that be something that you feel would be helpful? Again, you need to frame that last question as a question that's not saying, hey, you need to get on the call with me, right? It's a logic-based question. Does this make sense? Would that help you? Because the more you get them to agree to that statement, the more likely that eventually you're going to say, hey, well, let's get on a quick call and let's talk about it. And what's a good time for you? And they're going to say yes to that. Okay. So from top to bottom, that is exactly how you should be walking through a potential outreach situation. Now, let's go ahead and jump back over here to Deal Finder, right? We'll go ahead and clear this out here at the top. And now we'll jump over to Deal Finder. And Deal Finder, the outreach is still going to be the same, and the prospecting is still going to be the same. But the cool thing about Deal Finder is this allows us to see a lot better of a deal on the table for us. And the reason why I say that is this, where with Niche Finder, these all just happen to be businesses that match a keyword description in a particular area. All the businesses in Deal Finder are actively looking for help online right now for social media marketing. And we're able to go ahead and find the name of this business, how much they're willing to pay, what exactly they're looking to do, the size of their company, of course, where they're located, which again, I'm using Florida for the example. And we have an AI generated lead score. And this score goes from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not so good, 10 being amazing, right? And from red to blue is what you see for colors there. And now what this score is telling you is the likelihood that this company is going to be open and willing to work with an independent contractor or a freelancer, okay? And the reason why that's important is, again, just like I mentioned back over here with Niche Finder, right? You don't want to be reaching out to the UFits of the world. You don't want to be reaching out to the LA Fitnesses or the Planet Crunches or Planet Fitness and Crunch. I've been in the gym world too long. I'm blending them together. Okay. You don't want to reach out to these big corporate chains. They've got marketing teams. They've got employees that they pay next to nothing to go ahead and do this stuff, right? You want the small to mid-sized businesses. You want people that are business owners themselves that are doing well enough that they're at the point of expanding and needing more help with marketing to bring in more customers, more clients, more sales, but they don't know how to do the marketing themselves. And that's where somebody like you comes to play, okay? And now the cool thing is, just like we were able to go ahead and prospect over there with Niche Finder, we can actually make things a little bit simpler here, because with a click of a button, we can go ahead and do research and analyze the lead and figure out what exactly it is that they need or they need help with, right? So let's go ahead and see what this is. Arcoma International Corporation. They want social media strategy and development. They want content creation. They have a private group that they want help managing, and they have the need for any type of performance analytics reporting. So this sounds like a UGC with some analytics type of situation, which is a good job. I'm not going to lie to you. And they're looking to pay $4,500 a month. And it's actually right here in Miami. Maybe I'll go reach out to them. But I digress. The cool thing is just like with Niche Finder, you can go ahead and click this research button, get all the information about this company all in one spot, and start that same process that we did with Niche Finder with that lead over there with this lead here. And now a common question that I do get quite often from many of you is, well, TJ, is there a way that we should approach these businesses differently because they're actively looking for help? And the answer is yes and no. And the reason why I say both is this. At the end of the day, guys, realize this. You can go up and say, hey, I saw that you were looking for help online with content creation and you're looking for help with some social media marketing, and I happen to be a social media marketer. I'm looking to go ahead and help you. You could do that. You absolutely could. There's nothing wrong with that approach. However, I've been in sales for a long time, okay? And in almost every situation, and any person who's been in sales for even more than a minute, they'd tell you, rapport increases the likelihood of things closing 1,000 times over, okay? Approaching with my question and a compliment icebreaker and running through that conversation the way I explained earlier is going to up your chances of success. And the way I kind of compare it is, imagine it like trying to open up a rusty door with some rusty hinges, right? You could brute force it. If you're strong enough, you got a big enough back, and you got a, good name behind you, you got a big portfolio. You could just walk in and say, hey, I'm me and I do this and I'm awesome. I want to help you. I heard you were looking for help. It can work, right? In my experience, the brute force style does kind of take a little bit more in terms of outreach, in terms of follow-up, okay? But using that approach that I mentioned earlier when we're going through the Niche Finder lead, think of it like greasing up the hinges. Allows you to open that door a hell of a lot easier, excuse my language, okay? And again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. And there are a million different ways to do this. There's no one-size-fits-all answer to sales. There's no one-size-fits-all answer to prospecting. This is just the way that we do it here, and we've had a lot of success with our agency. At this current point in time, our agency has done over $40 million for its portfolio of clients. So that being said, I like to sit here and say that we have at least a pretty good idea on how to go ahead and do this for people. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown here today. If you're looking for more help, obviously you will have contact to your concierge. You can text them, but we also do offer education on this whole concept of social media marketing, starting your agency, and even better, right? Helping you find and get that first paying client. If that's something that interests you, feel free to reach out to the concierge. We have a private group where you actually get your own one-on-one coach. You get, again, the ability to have you walk through this stuff step by step, just in case you have any questions at any time, so you can increase your likelihood of success and make sure you're not wasting time, money, or effort. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.